Hey guys, hope you're doing well, and today I'm going to go over a short story that I wrote and read it to you in voiceover. Alrighty, thank you for tuning into the video. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'm going to be reading you guys a short story that I wrote called The Inner Self. I did write this back in, I believe, 2012, which is a long time now that I think about it. I'm getting old. Oh, but anyways, I've growing up. Besides art, I always like to write, which is why I'm also working on a graphic novel, which is taking me a century to do. But yeah, besides that, what I was saying. In 2012, I did take some classes on creative writing and whatnot, and this is where I started writing this story. But yeah, the story I'm going to be reading in this video was something I did write in one of my creative writing classes back in, like I said, 2012, a century ago. But I decided, since it's been a while since I really wrote anything story-wise besides my graphic novel, bits and pieces here and there, but just something I could just sit there and just write something. It doesn't have to be too long or anything, just a little story. So I thought I'd go back and look through my old stories that I wrote that I could find, and this one, The Inner Self, was one of my favorites in class at the time. When I read it to them, they loved it, and I'll go over why after you watch the video. But yeah, I decided to rewrite it, and it's still 3 pages long, just like the old one, but wow. God, I can't talk today. The way I wrote it, I really love it. It's so much better than it was before, and it makes me really surprised by how much I can play around with words more than I thought I ever could. So there's that. I thought it'd be interesting to make a video reading short stories, and because I always like watching those creepy story channels like Mr. Nightmare, Darkness Prevails, Corpse, stuff like that. But I thought it'd be interesting if, how I did my cryptid legend videos, with the Flatwoods Monster, the aliens, and Peguero. Oh, the beast of Peguero. Oh my god, I can't talk. But yeah, how I would read those. I'm hoping over time, if people like how I narrate the stories, maybe they'll want to send in submissions and I can read their stories for them on this channel. And I'll be creating an art piece in the voice. Oh my god, I can't talk. I'm sorry. I'll be doing an art piece while I read the story out in voiceover. There we go. So yeah, that's what this video is about. I'm going to be reading my story, The Inner Self, while I create an art piece to go along with it. And yeah, I'm going to shut up because I can't talk for some reason today. Or tonight. Wait, what time is it? Anyways, let's get to it.
I was lost in darkness, unaware where I was, or what could be lurking as I ventured forward. An overwhelming pain pierced throughout my body, as if something from within was trying to break through. I felt so fragile, yet so strong. It was quite intense, like if adrenaline had kept itself alive, pumping within a corpse. The knowledge of how I was able to keep moving was very questionable, almost as if the impossible was absolutely possible in disguise. Every step felt like nails digging up into my feet, my eyes constantly watering with the heat that flowed along my face. Tears of fire erupting from a cold heart that struggled to keep itself beating, bones trying to rebuild a shattered figure that was in need of a miracle. Any feeling of being human rapidly fading away despite the determination of not letting go. I had to pull myself together, which was beyond difficult, but somehow my body kept going. Where could I be? How did I get here? Why is this happening to me? So many questions, so many emotions, so much to handle all at once. It was like if life was flashing before my eyes in a way where I could only feel memories and not see them whatsoever. My true desire at this very moment was to escape this dark place and reveal the answers I so desperately needed. An explanation could probably be the only power that could rid of all this pain. Was this the ultimate punishment that one could receive without understanding why, or being completely oblivious in denial of the exact reason right before their eyes? With much hesitation of coping with everything I was experiencing, I somehow managed to make out what I was walking upon. Floorboards, rough, aged with a hint of rotting mush. I could feel the wetness upon my feet, which I quickly noticed the pain within them had suddenly begun to fade. What felt like an eternity was only a matter of minutes of me struggling to feel anything that wasn't excruciating hell. I finally let out a yell, hoping to catch a reply from within the darkness, but no sound left my mouth. Not being able to yell, speak, or whisper felt like the end of all hope in full. A throbbing sensation began to emerge upon all my attempts to let out a sound. A sudden thought of whether I was deaf or not did come to mind, but of course nothing made any sense. Everything was in complete silence, and all motion was slow against fast-raging winds. All I could do was continue venturing forward. Something inside me was too stubborn to give in, which led me to assume something was yet to come if I allowed it to. With my arms stretched out before me, I struggled to make out any solid shape I could set my hands upon, and soon enough, I grabbed a hold of something. Hard, cold, round in shape. I've come to realize what I was gripping tightly was a doorknob indeed. With the effort to give it a twist, surprisingly, I managed to open it challenge-free, and what would be on the other side? Well, that was a 50-50 chance. There was definitely no turning back now. Anything was better than this place of darkness of not understanding. Not being in control, not being able to snap out of this living nightmare that felt to go on forever. I had to force myself through. I had to see what this determination I couldn't fight was all about. Answers had to be on the other side, and before I knew it, I did just that. I went through. Beautiful. It was plain and simple of a word I could use to describe this place. What I was seeing, feeling, it all felt so peaceful. Sunlight beaming down across the land as it reflected through sprinkled rain, soothing music filling the air like an addictive drug, and laughter that gave off the impression that there was no darkness here, only light. Once I walked through that door, all the pain and suffering I felt only moments ago had completely vanished. As of now, I felt the opposite. In an instant, I was cured. Was I dead? Was there really a heaven after all? What is this place, and why am I here? Hello? A question I was finally able to say aloud. Is there anyone here? Of course I got no reply. It appeared as if no one was around to greet me whatsoever. All that music and laughter had to be coming from somewhere, right? I walked around this open land of fields that looked to be endless. The more I kept moving forward with the sight of a city of some sort off in the near distance, I aimed it as my destination. The more I continued venturing towards it, the more further away it felt upon every step. With the constant thoughts running through my head of not understanding, I slowly began to feel all the pain and sorrow washing itself over me. Not again. I blurted out in fear. That led me into a sprint. There was no way I was going to allow myself to go back into the darkness. I barely managed to escape it once before. I had to get to that city. Failure was not an option. It was hell in the flesh coming for me. In a matter of minutes, the pain was rapidly consuming me once again. I dared to look back behind me, and dumb me did just that. The darkness was washing over the beautiful fields of this place, the light being drained of its power as it began to be devoured into the resemblance of a black hole, and it was coming for me. Soon enough, I froze, feet glued to the glimmering grass, body paralyzed and vocal cords too weak to speak. This is it. It's going to get me. The haunting thought I had on replay. It has to be. I put my head down, closed my eyes, and gave in to the idea of the end. It was pretty much the only thing I was able to do, despite being paralyzed from the neck down, and just when I was allowing my fate to wash over me, something pierced through the action at hand. A voice. This voice felt so familiar, almost identical if not fully. Look up, it demanded in a peaceful tone. I didn't hesitate to open my eyes. I looked up only to see a vague figure standing before me. As my eyes began to slowly adjust to clear vision, I began to notice who I was looking at. The resemblance was spot on. And the voice from before? It was me. Their clothes and looks were a pure definition of perfection compared to mine. I didn't notice before, but I was covered in filth, blood, and devastation. Upon my realization, the voice began to speak once again. My voice from the other me. You can live a better life. A life of joy, success, and exhilaration. A life you deserve more than you know. A smile formed itself upon their face, and despite all odds, I somehow managed to let out my questions to be heard. What's going on? What's happening? Who are you? I need answers, please. With my questions left unanswered, the other me began to speak again. Learn to overcome the love that brings you pain, giving you the lack of focus that drives you away from what it is you truly deserve. What you truly desire, reach out and grab it. A treasure only you could acquire if you allow it to present itself. The poison you bury beneath your skin will only devour confidence from those you allow to inject the blood with unworthiness. Those words left me stunned as I tried to process the true meaning behind them. But before I could make any progress in doing so, something grabbed a hold of me from behind. Cold black hands gripped my arms tightly with the burning sensation of hellfire as it began to pull back. With the adrenaline of determination suddenly pumping through my veins, I began to push myself away from its grasp. The other me just stared as their smile transitioned to concern. As I pleaded for their help, they just sighed and turned, walking away from me, heading back to that place that looked to be a city. I kept fighting with all the strength I had to get away from the hands gripping a hold of me so I could follow where the other me was headed, but then it happened. All hope was lost in an instant, with the hands gripping onto me were joined by more, and before I knew it, I was being brought back into the darkness that began to swallow me whole, as my cries for help began to fade away along with it. The door I had escaped from before had shut itself before me, and once again, the darkness succeeded in its hunt for the prey. A blurry vision quickly turned clear in a matter of seconds as I opened my eyes to adjust to a night-lit room. I was now in bed, alone. With a sudden thought of what I had just witnessed moments ago, I flinched myself awake entirely and sat up. Only briefly did I realize it was all a dream, but it felt so real. My body and emotions still seemed to have the soreness of healing from pain that wasn't real, but it had me thinking, was it? It couldn't have been, right? Maybe that actual event that took place in my head within a nightmare, but the pain I was feeling? I allowed myself to take a breath before collapsing my back onto the bed. As I stared up at the ceiling, I let out a sigh before rolling over to my side. Next to me was no one. Once again, I was sleeping alone. But it was nothing new. The one that was supposed to love me was never here. But then again, it's not like it was any better when they were here. On their side of the bed, I noticed the glow of 3 a.m. and Greene upon their nightstand inside. It was nothing new for them to be out all night again, probably coming back drunk or in a bad mood. I'd probably be in trouble for some unknown reason. No matter what, I was trapped in hands that gave pressure around my emotions and worse, my heart's vulnerability. There's no escaping it, but I could be telling myself that, or believing the words of another. As I laid there in bed thinking about the love I was cherishing to have, and the nightmare that took place only moments ago, the words, "You're a failed attempt at being a human," kept attacking me. Words that had been told from people before, always torturing me, causing my self-esteem to drop rapidly quicker every time spoken, and from others that always side with negativity. It should be obvious now what it is I've been denying all this time. Love isn't something I have. It's the toxins in plain sight that are injecting themselves into my self-worth, leaving me to believe in everything I hear because I'm always allowing fear to take control. How could I have never let myself notice this before? It's utterly dumbfounding. It's obvious I've been surrounding myself with the wrong crowd, both in others and worse, in romances. I know I'm being cheated on, and there's no care about what it's doing to me in their eyes, so why am I allowing this to continue? I'm not a failed attempt at being a human, and I do matter. With that last thought hitting me hard with the knowledge of solution, it all clicked. What's snapping me out of this denial I've been carrying all this time? My nightmare. How could this be? With a sudden fascination, I began to wonder. Maybe dreams aren't always weird and confusing stories that don't make sense? Could it be that they may be twisted ways in telling us what we need to hear? An inner self? A self-conscience that digs deep into the brain to help us unravel the importance to save us from ourselves? Our true self that we intend to ignore from time to time, if not every minute of our lives?
All right, and there you have it. That's my short story, The Inner Self. I hope you guys liked it. I know I sure did with how I included the little eerie music that's in the background. thought that really came together in the end. As for the rest of the video, for the time lapse of the drawing I was doing, I'm losing my thought. My video camera was dying. I think that's why or maybe I'm just stupid and thought I was recording it, but it didn't record it. I didn't get the footage of the coloring process, the rest of it, so I'll just show you what it looks like. This is how it came out. I'm still trying to learn how to draw hands because I suck at it, but I think they look alright. So basically, I didn't mention what the door looked like or what color it was in the story, but in my head I kept thinking of a red door, painted black. I know I'm a dork. But and then the pattern I have, it's like purple and black patterns. I always do these patterns. I don't know why, but I guess it's my style. But our main style. But yeah, I guess you could consider that as the darkness. And we got the hands, of course, that I mentioned. Those ones are the ones that would be grabbing the main character. Yeah, they would be the hands that were grabbing the character in the story, dragging them back into the darkness to go behind this door. And there we have it. I think I'm going to be calling it Darkness Within, or Darkness Awaits. I think Within's probably better though, because it's inside the door. So yeah, we'll just call it Darkness Within. And yeah, to go over what I mentioned earlier in the video before the time lapse and story and voiceover, I was saying how the class that I took for my creative writing, where I wrote the story originally, the first version of it before I rewrote it. I know I'm talking too much, but basically what they said they really liked about it, I didn't notice at first until they mentioned it, but I didn't write the character's gender. I didn't put if it was a male or a female, or I guess basically when I was writing it, I just assumed it's like writing it as like if I was experiencing it. So to me, it would be a male, but I guess if other people would read it like a female, for example, they would think, oh, okay, well, the main character's got to be a female then, or I don't know, if you're whatever gender you are. Basically, that's reading it, that's how you would see that character. So I wrote it in a way where you put yourself in that character's shoes, so you're that character. That makes sense. But yeah, I do like to write. I notice I do like to write dark. I am a dark writer, I guess. I like to deal with emotions and eerie things. I know I'm a weirdo. Maybe it's because I grew up watching horror movies, and that's why I love horror movies and monsters and all that. And another thing they had mentioned that they liked about the story was that I was good at capturing like emotions, like someone in distress. I guess it's like something relatable to people who are dealing with problems like that, or they're like always, I guess, have low self-esteem, or they're actually in a similar situation, and maybe some people don't know that they are, or they do. But yeah, I want to make the story, I guess, to be more relatable. Maybe some things that I've seen or experienced. Not like, I don't know, I'm still single as F. But anyways, that's a whole nother topic. So if you want to know more about that, you can ask me questions and I'll get back to you. Since I'm still a newbie to YouTube, don't have a large following or whatever, I should be able to reply to you pretty quickly. Yeah, I would love it if you guys had any short stories that you would like me to narrate. If you like how I narrate, that'd be cool. I can also do, like how I did for this one, an art piece and time lapse for it. And of course, give your shout out and that you wrote the story. So yeah, let me know if you're interested for that. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and tickle the bell icon so you don't miss any notification from whenever I post a video to my channel. And yeah, I'm done talking. Stay awesome, guys.